Yes, sir. Yes,
Looks
sir.
like he was raped.
Yes, sir. We got another one. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Hood War Chronicles. And this is Hillside versus Crestside Gang War. How E-40 barely made it out alive, man. Now, E-40 is a hip hop legend. For those that don't know, and
You are now in tune with Klasic. It's not a classic unless it's classic.
That's right. It's a motherfucking classic.
Like and subscribe.
you heard it, like and subscribe, man. And it's not a classic unless it's classic. And we need to get into this video, man. So let's check it out, man. Shout out to Hood War Chronicles. So let's go.
Looks like he was rating everybody from on the scale to from 1 to 10.
Right.
And
I read that all the time.
you read that?
It was you and Spice 1. He gave Spice 1 a 2 and gave you a 0.
A 0, bruh.
My youngins, my little young hyenas, they so sneaky. I didn't even know that they was. I didn't even know on everything. I didn't even know dude had a concert in Sacramento. They called me like 11 at night. Father, what you want me to do with this, man?
Vallejo, California was a dangerous place.
Yeah, man. For those that don't know, man, E-40 had Biggie in a pretty bad predicament, man. He had Biggie show up to a concert that was not a real concert, and it was basically a setup. Because Biggie was running his mouth about E-40. Basically, he was calling E-40 whack. So, yeah, they didn't like that. So they flew Biggie out to L.A. or to the Bay Area and booked him for a show. Lo and behold, he was the only person that was there. True story.
To come up, home to hustlers and killers, and this was where E-40 came from. He was from Hillside, Vallejo, and in his words, we did what we had to do to survive.
I have been behind bars from a case number 246, 247, shooting in the habit dwelling, which I wasn't convicted for.
At that time, just like the East Coast versus West Coast beef, E-40's Hillside was involved in an active war with Crestside, who had names like...
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
Yeah, I know Selly Cell. Selly Cell, he's one of those OGs also, man. So if you know about West Coast history, Selly Cell is definitely somebody that's mentioned a lot.
McDre and Mac Mel. But even worse, these guys were more serious, shooting up people and their families. That was the world Biggie once got entangled in, almost getting lit. But for E-40's intervention.
I got 40 on the phone, man. 40 want to talk to this nigga. Why, right? So out of respect for my older cousin, because at the time it was a real organization. So I'm like, all right, nigga, I bag him off this.
At the end of it all, Mac Dre was killed in Kansas City, but E-40 survived, going on to become a successful entrepreneur.
Earl E-40 Stevens, hip-hop legend, entrepreneur, and founder of Earl Stevens Selections. From shaping the sound of West Coast rap to building a portfolio of successful food and beverage brands, E-40 has turned creativity and hustle into an empire.
According to the rapper, he still carries the guilt of those times. Let's get into it.
My name, and he's oh man, he's big boo boo, he's whack, man. Give him a 0.
In the mid-1990s, Biggie Smalls came to Sacramento for a show, and along the line, got drawn into a beef with E-40's crew. But the beef between Biggie Smalls and E-40 started earlier, when Biggie had given an interview in a Canadian magazine where he called E-40 whack, rated him 0 out of a 10. These guys went to Sacramento just to handle Biggie without
See, homie, he messed up right there. Big mess up.
E-40's knowledge. They knew where he was staying. They were armed and ready, waiting for approval.
Oh, wow. So my little dudes, they was all hot. So they just so happened to sneak up to Sacramento. You know what I'm talking about? They had, I guess the dude, they threw the show, he was out there. They called me at 11 something at night. Party, what you want me to do with woo-wop-de-woo?
If E-40 had said yes, Biggie Smalls might not have made it out of Northern California alive. This was even before Tupac's death. Instead, E-40 spoke to Biggie directly about what he said, and Biggie explained he'd been drunk during the interview and didn't mean the disrespect. He apologized and
Do you think Biggie actually meant what he said? Like, I think Biggie knew what it was. He knew that if he would have been on some tough guy stuff, yeah, he would have been adios amigo. So, yeah, I think Biggie was just using his brain and saying what he had to say to get out that scenario.
Told him he actually liked his music. E-40 accepted it and called everything off. One phone call prevented a murder and possibly an earlier coast-to-coast war. That moment alone shows the level E-40 was operating on, not just as a rapper, but as someone with real influence. He knew when to draw the line, and according to Lil Bruce, E-40's cousin, E-40 told him that if they had a hit on Biggie, they were setting others to want to take a hit on him in the nearest future, which made Lil Bruce chill, giving Biggie a pass instead of taking action that day.
He like Lil Bruce. I be in New York, and I be by myself. So if you smack that, somebody gonna turn around and smack me, basically.
To further understand E-40's survival and game as a Hillside member, you have to understand the streets of Vallejo itself.
Business owners in Vallejo say they are fed up tonight with a string of brazen break-ins. Over the weekend, burglars used a car to smash through the front door of a 7-Eleven. And then another brand new business had been targeted just days after opening.
Vallejo, California, like every other black mixed races neighborhood city, had a high crime rate and rappers. It has a significant hip-hop legacy, and by the late 80s and early 90s, the city was split straight down the middle. South Vallejo was Hillside. North Vallejo was Crestside.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the whole Bay Area, man. Because it's crazy, like, staying in California and staying in Los Angeles. Yeah, it's the Bay Area and then Los Angeles, we have two different type of swags, two different type of styles. And even out there in the Bay Area, they got their separation also. So, I guess it's really a Cali thing that, that we're very territorial and we're so divided too. Like, just imagine if we had the unity, from the Bay Area to LA, we'll really be running a lot of stuff.
And this dictated where you could hang out, who you moved with, and how safe you were on any given day. E-40 came up in South Vallejo. Hillside was home.
You are now in tune with Klasic. It's not a classic unless it's classic.
That's right. It's a motherfucking classic.
Like and subscribe.
His parents were separated, and his mother had to fend for 4 kids on her own, with E-40 being the eldest of his 3 other siblings. The people closest to him, Suga T, B Legit, D-Shot, were all from...
Man, that's the only bad thing about AI. They are very terrible with the name pronunciation. Suga T is Sugar T.
From the same side. Together, they formed The Click, and later built Sick Wit It Records, which quickly became a Hillside stronghold in the rap industry. Across town, Crestside had its own movement. Artists like Mac Dre, Doobie, PSD, and Reek Daddy were rising at the same time, and many were tied, directly or indirectly, to a street crew known as the Romper Room Gang. But that connection wasn't a rumor.
Remember? Yeah, the Romper Room Gang, it was definitely put a lot of stuff down in the Bay Area, especially when it came to allegedly when it came to like different robberies and stuff. Like, they were saying Mac Dre was a part of that. So, salute to the Bay Area once again for that, man.
Of the Romper Room crew.
Yeah, notorious.
Notorious. You notice I didn't say the Romper Room Gang. I said the Romper Room crew.
It's a crew. It is, right. That's what it is, because it's brothers.
The Romper Room crew was linked to real cases, spanning from bank robberies, armored car jobs, and organized operations that put Vallejo under heavy law enforcement pressure. When the arrests came, police didn't just target people. They went after the music too, trying to use lyrics as evidence. Instead of cooling things down, it made everything worse. The city got quieter, angrier, and more dangerous. What started as neighborhood tension quickly became open hostility. Different parties began posting "No Romps Allowed" signs, meaning Crestside members weren't welcome. When they showed up anyway, fights broke out. Those fights didn't stay fists for long. Shootings became common. Cars were shot up in daylight. Names were carved into car doors as warnings. Guns came out at rap shows when diss songs played. Local artists have described how dangerous it became just to play music. Certain records couldn't be played in certain rooms without triggering violence. Vallejo was too small.
Of course, man, you know. Like I said, once again, people, we are very territorial when it comes to this California politics. So, yeah, you definitely don't want to be on the wrong side when all this stuff was going down, man. It'd be an easy night scenario for you, man. So, yeah.
All to avoid your enemies. Everybody knew everybody. And this wasn't limited to rappers. Family homes were targeted. Relatives who had nothing to do with music were caught in the middle. In the midst of all these, E-40 didn't have the option to stay neutral. He was Hillside, no doubt, and that alone put a target on his back. But E-40 understood the fact that survival wasn't about being the loudest. It was about being strategic. While other Hillside rappers like Lil Bruce went hard on diss records aimed at Crestside and Romper Room, E-40 largely stayed out of direct lyrical warfare. That wasn't weakness, that was intelligence, because most of his rivals ended up dead or in prison.
Saying in the Hillside where I grew up at, man, it wasn't just all, you know, just all blacks. You feel me? And I respect us all. I respect all. And that's it, we can't make it this world. God didn't put all of us on here to make it a separate thing. You feel me?
Yeah, that's real talk, man. E-40, like the dude was saying, man, if he would have got caught up into the Hillside and, you know, the crest side of that beef, who knows? We probably wouldn't have had E-40 in a rap game, you know. So very strategic and very smart to handle it the way that he did.
Tension between E-40 and Mac Dre didn't start as a personal rap beef between the two. It stemmed from Vallejo's divide, and it is only natural as the two were from opposite sides of a city already at war. While E-40 represented Hillside, Mac Dre was the face of Crestside. Now, during that era, this alone was enough reason to create distance, suspicion, and pressure, even if two people never exchanged a word.
Me and Dre, we got the big name, so you gotta point the finger at somebody, right?
Another thing that made it heavier was visibility. Both of them were successful, respected, and influential in their hood. That meant anything involving them carried more weight than regular street disputes. Fans, crews, and associates projected the Hillside, Crestside conflict onto them, whether they wanted it or not.
They want to say certain about E-40 and Mac Dre like we were the worst. I never had a problem with Mac Dre.
There were no widely documented diss tracks traded directly between E-40 and Mac Dre. No public call and response records. No on-wax declarations of war. E-40 didn't need diss records to be labeled dangerous. His associations did that for him. The tension lived off record in affiliations, rumors, and the streets around them.
Y'all, all the OGs that we had problems with back then, and vice versa, we're not on that. We left that alone, you know, a couple years after that. Like, man, let's leave that shit alone.
In 1992, Mac Dre was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit robbery and sentenced to 5 years in prison after refusing a deal with the police to inform them about his partners. By late 90s and
like RIP to Mac Dre, man. Mac Dre, he was definitely influential, and his career was cut short, I think, in the prime of his career, because he was doing his thing, and as he was rising, he got caught into some silly beef, you know, and then ended up getting deleted, unalived, whatever you want to say, like on the YouTube side. But yeah, man, unfortunately met his demise a little bit too early, man, because Mac Dre, he still have a lot of people that's swagger jacking him to this day.
Early 2000s, after his jail time, the divide between them projected by the Hillside versus Crestside had softened. E-40 and Mac Dre reconciled and had plans to work together. But by the time of Mac Dre's death in 2004, there was no active beef between them. Mac was killed in a drive-by shooting in Kansas City. His death might not have been tied directly to Vallejo, but this is just the predictable end of most black rappers. E-40 has since been clear that whatever tension once existed belonged to the streets they came from, not personal hatred.
If a had a song right now that Dre said between 93 when he went to jail to 2004 when that man passed away, I would love for them to bring it out. They never did, because it's nothing.
But the damage to perception had already been done. Although he wants nothing to do with beefing with other rappers, he's been caught up in the web. This is seen when...
So think of it as like a TV ad with a catalog component where...
Yeah, salute to those that hit that like on this video, man. And if you're watching this on the replay game, man, I appreciate it if you subscribe, and I appreciate it if you hit the like also, man. Now let's get to the video.
E-40 talked about the time when his cousin threw a lyrical jab at Mac Dre and he had to back his cousin despite the fact that they didn't ask him to.
My relatives started the you know, we didn't tell them to do it, so at some point it got personal. I had to have his back. And the little that I said about wasn't even really nothing spectacular. It was just a couple of he said a couple things. We never made a full song about each other.
But E-40 has consistently maintained the fact that he wanted unity. He could have sanctioned hits on people, but there was definitely an end he was aiming at, and it was not to end up like Mac Dre and other rappers who were gone too soon. Now, while surviving the street life being tied to Hillside during one of Vallejo's most violent periods, there were also times when law enforcement, industry insiders, and outsiders often viewed him through a criminal lens.
Like, it's crazy that E-40, and they about to mention him being blackballed, but he sold a lot of records out the trunk. Like, he was definitely getting his bread. Like, and he's one of those pioneers that was really preaching independence. You know, you had the Master P's that was doing his stuff out there in the Bay Area also. And, you know, those type of people, they just had that hustle about them to where no matter what, they was going to get their stuff off. And if I'm not mistaken, to this day, E-40 is still releasing music, bro. Like, and it could be, like, he don't even have to be signed to a major label. Like, I remember at one point, like, the dude dropped, like, 4 albums within 1 year. So basically, you know, like, this dude was, like, really about his cheddar. He definitely had the work ethic and the hustle. So, mad respect to E-40. I remember, like, when he first came out and I was younger, I didn't like him because I thought his style was too different. But as I got older, the originality, that was very key for him standing out. And as I got older also, I caught on to a lot of the stuff that he was talking about. And I realized the dude was spitting real game. So you got to respect that, man. Somebody that wasn't a follower, someone that invested in itself and made the money back, you know, when nobody else was invested in him, you know. So more people should definitely follow the blueprint of what E-40 had going on. We got the homie, what up, what up? I see E-40 rolling with P-Lo, a wild black. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, like, P-Lo, that dude, he's been around also, man. So it's just like, he's in the Bay Area. That's what I'm saying, like, low-key, I know people respect him, but that's another thing about E-40. Like, E-40 don't seem like the type of person that's a hater. Like, he really seemed like he's willing to work with almost anybody type stuff. Unless y'all got, like, some personal issue, but I'm pretty sure he the type of person that try to squash whatever issue it is. So, you know, a lot of people may not like E-40 because of, like I said, the slang that he used, so it might be hard for them to understand him. But if you really peep out his business acumen and the subject matter of the stuff that he talk about, you gotta give him some respect because the dude is hella original and he came in the game by itself and he made a name for himself. So, mad respect. Mad respect. Mad respect.
Years. Unlike the East Coast rap from artists like Jay-Z and Biggie Smalls, E-40's Bay Area raps didn't sound like New York. They didn't sound like Los Angeles either. The slang was thick, the cadence was different, and this was not what they wanted on a national level.
See, that's what I'm saying. They said the cadence was different. And like I said, when I was younger, I didn't peep game. See, the homie said I haven't really listened to much E-40. And ain't nothing wrong with it, man. But I do say you have a good taste in music, bro. So if you really give him a listen, like if you listen to that Graveyard Shift and the day shift, and he got I think a nighttime shift or whatever, and then he got overtime. That's what I'm saying. He dropped like 4 albums within 1 year, and each album had like 16 songs on it, 18 songs, and majority of the songs was fire. So it's very hard to have another artist. The only other artist that ever came out that dropped that much material that was actually fire, I would say was DMX. So if you on the same level of being compared to DMX, DMX is another real one. And DMX, he dropped 2 albums. It was like It's Dark and Hell is Hot, and then Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Both of those albums was fire. In E-40, he's definitely another person that definitely he got the work ethic, and the music is crazy, and the originality as far as like the the slang that he used. You really gotta understand and listen to what he's talking about, because at first it might sound foreign, but if you really capture what he's talking about, you're gonna be like, yeah, that dude's knowledgeable and he's like the first to a lot of this stuff.
I feel like the Bay doesn't get the credit it deserves in hip hop.
100%. Most of us in the Bay Area feel that way. There actually was a period in the early 90s when major labels were looking at the Bay Area.
For program directors outside Northern California in the 1990s, that was a problem. The feedback was always the same, and the complaint has always been, the music was too regional, too local, too Bay Area to work on a national level. So his records didn't get added, they didn't get rotated, nor did they get pushed. Most of these program directors tended to favor East Coast flows, sounds, and styles over the Bay Area's independent scene. That meant artists like E-40, who were huge locally, struggled to get playlist support on stations that shaped mainstream rap airplay. E-40 has talked openly about how that was, watching his music move in the streets.
I would say it's like having another producer in the room that knows exactly what
Yeah, that dude is fire, man. I definitely give respect to E-40, man. E-40, E. Fonzarelli. Yeah, man. And that whole situation that happened with Biggie, that's that's classic, man. That's some real Godfather type of stuff.
Pretended it didn't exist. In his song, Why They Don't FK With Us, he rapped about how they, that is, the Bay rappers, are not recognized. And in his words, he's been stolen from, slept on, eternally underrated. They never put me on the cover of The Source. Even when his tapes were selling, even when crowds were showing up, the main industry still treated him like a risk they didn't want to take. But instead of waiting around, he went around them. He pressed his own music and sold it himself, literally from trunks, parking lots, shows, street corners, wherever people were willing to listen. He didn't rely on charts or spins to tell him if something worked. If the tapes moved, that was proof enough.
As far as like me selling tapes out the trunk of the car in 1988 to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To being who I am now, a fixture in the rap game. You know what I'm saying?
That hustle turned into Sick With It Records, and brick by brick, he built his own system. Manufacturing, distribution, promotion, everything labels usually control. He worked directly with independent distributors.
Yeah, bro. Bro been putting it down for a long time, since the 80s. So you already know, like, the dude didn't need the record industry per se. All he needed was a good distributor, and dude had it locked since then. Because like I said, him, Master P, even though Master P's from Louisiana, he went to the Bay Area to get a lot of his CDs off before he actually signed to a major label. So, you know, I guess that's the culture of the Bay Area up north and everything. Like, it sucks that Los Angeles and the Bay Area don't come together and work together more, because the styles are two different styles, but we all from California sharing the same coast and everything. So if we work together, like, California definitely would take off and take over. Like, we had our time to where the West Coast was being appreciated, let's say around the Dr. Dre time. And then, you know, the West Coast had another resurgence with the DJ Mustard sound, with the quote unquote ratchet music. And then the Bay Area had their resurgence or their sound with the hyphy movement. So, you know, the Bay Area is definitely one of the key factors for the reason why the West Coast sounds so good. Now the homie said definitely will check them out. Yeah. Most Bay Area rappers pretty fire. I agree. Underrated in the Bay. Yeah. Yeah. Like, the Bay Area definitely have their own style to where if you didn't know no better, you would think that they're like low key kind of like Midwest or Southern, because, you know, people, they rock their dreads, they rock their gold teeth. The slang is different. And the music is low key different. You know, we got the typical West Coast vibe, but the Bay Area definitely have a different sound. So, you know, like I said, it would be dope if the Bay Area and LA worked together more. But for some reason, like, shit, even in the Bay Area, they're separated. You know, the Sacramento and the San Francisco area. And then out here in LA, there's a lot of division also. So basically, it's like no matter where you go in California, it's going to be a lot of division.
Moving units city by city, not waiting for national validation. His music traveled because people passed it hand to hand. E-40 managed to walk through all that like it had nothing on him, with over dozens of albums and 100+ songs. That is.
Let me see. See, is these albums. I think this album right here, that's what the Tell Me Where to Go and all that hyphy stuff. But this was like the night shift, the day shift, like over graveyard shift, and like the overtime. Check these albums out. Check these albums out, because these albums was fire. And that's what I'm saying, bro. He had like at least 20 something odd songs on each album. And as far as me getting into E-40, it would be kind of right here when I first started hearing about him. I really didn't like him, and then I think this is the album right here where he had a song with Fabulous. That automatic, systematic, like, that song was fire to where I really paid attention to what E-40 was doing, because at that time I liked Fabulous as an artist. You know, because Fabulous was definitely fire as far as lyrics and stuff. So with me checking out every song Fabulous was on, he ended up doing a song with E-40, and that made me pay attention more to E-40 and stuff, to where it's like, all right, yeah, you know what, this dude is not that bad. Like, the dude's spitting, he's different. And that's one thing I learned to appreciate, because like I said, back then, that was one of the things. You were more celebrated for being original and different, not sounding alike, like how everybody sound alike nowadays will rap. So it was just the fact that E-40 was too different. He was too original, to where it became something that you had to have like an acquired taste, because like he was spitting a lot of stuff that was above my pay grade at that time. You know, I was hella young, so it was like, yeah, man. But once it got around this era, that's when I definitely started becoming a real E-40 fan, man. So 33rd, if you still in here, bro, check out these 4 albums, because I would kind of say, for me, this is like kind of peak E-40. But hell yeah.
Walk through all that like it had nothing on him with over dozens of albums and 100+ songs that has set both himself and the Bay Area on high. But that's not all. E-40 also built and managed a reputable family business, with personal businesses such as Earl Stevens Selection Wines, Goon with the Spoon, investments, and other...
I'm not gonna lie. Earl Stevenson's E-40, he has the best beer that I ever had in my life. And, you know, for people that drink beer, like beer, what'd you say? Definitely will check it out. Oh, for sure, bro. For sure, bro. But E-40 beer was the most firest beer that I ever had. And I'll never forget. I don't know if they sell it a lot of different places because of the distribution, but it had honey in it. So, you know, that normal bitter taste that you would have with beer, that beer that he had was so sweet, bro. Like, it tasted so good. So, you know, I know he had wine and he had wine coolers, but I never had none of that. I just had the beer. So if the other products are similar to that, I'm pretty sure they're good.
Ventures, just like his words, practice makes papers.
I always spoke about drinking wine in Colorasi. Shout out to Gallo, they own Colorasi, and a whole bunch. They influenced me just from me talking about it. I'm like, shoot, man, you know what? They don't want me to. They ain't tripping on me being a brand ambassador because they already established. They already cemented in the game. So even though I'm giving them free advertisement to the soils and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, just by talking about it.
The Earl Stevens Selection Wines started off from his love for liquor, and even his name E-40 came from a time when he drank 40 ounces of Old English.
I got the name E-40 on Magazine Street drinking 40 ounces of Old English.
Being a brand ambassador for a cognac producing company, he had connection with a person who told him he could easily bottle and package his own alcohol. And in no time, Earl Stevens Selection Wines was a thing, raking in millions as not...
Looking for an easier way to get that LLC next to your business?
Yeah, dude papered up, man. Very smart, very independent, and very influential.
Not just alcoholics, but fans were also all over it.
To Wine, a Northern California rapper has fans raising their glass.
Right for you.
Long lines of people waited outside the Sacramento Costco near Cal Expo to meet Bay Area multi-platinum recording artist E-40 and have him sign a bottle of his new wine.
From there, it expanded. From wines to spirits to tycoon cognac, distribution deals, real shelf space in stores.
Homie said probably better than Snoop Dogg wine. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. I seen that before in stores. I think it's called something like 19 Crimes or something or whatever. But it's like, yeah, man, it looks janky. Like, it don't look good at all. The homie also said he a badass name. A badass name from pounding 40 ounces. Yeah, man. Hey, that's a hell of a name. Like, yeah, we gonna call you E-40, bro, because your name is Earl and you drink 40s. Like, man.
Making a name and way. Something that stayed, and just like his music, it was owned by him 100%. Then, there's also Goon with the Spoon, which started as a nickname, also developed from the love for cooking, and after receiving a pressure cooker...
Goon with the Spoon? I don't like that name. I don't like that name.
From his in-laws, he began posting his cooking videos online with the hashtag #Goon with the Spoon, creating traction and followers even before the launching of the business. This grew to become a line of different foods, which was launched in 2020, including ice cream, burrito, sausages, and a cookbook which he launched with Snoop Dogg. Now selling online and in different major US retail shops such as Walmart's and Safeway.
The native and rapper E-40 is now dabbling in the food industry. He has launched his own brand of sausages and burritos that are now available.
It doesn't end there, as E-40 believes in flipping money, investments, and building things. He invested in over 50 startups.
The homie said no comment on that name. Goon with the Spoon. Like what?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, I don't like that name.
Creating different streams and sources of income for himself. E-40's legacy stands firm, as most of his business acumen K has seen more success than setback, as many other artists have struggled to sustain single businesses and even fall into bankruptcy.
40 is a fixture at Golden State Warriors games. He's regularly seen sitting courtside, cheering for the Dubs and having fun with the players.
Now, with all these, it's as though E-40's been chilling in a mansion for the last 20 years. Untouched, untested, living off legacy. But that's not really how it's gone. Because even as an OG, after rising past his hood, E-40 has still had to deal with disrespect, challenges, and moments where his status didn't protect him at all. Unlike the hood, where lyrical wars were known, now in the age of social media, disrespect doesn't always come with fists or gunshots anymore. Sometimes it's just tweets, Instagram stories, and viral clips. Younger rappers throw shots to test the waters, to see if an old rapper will crash out, clap back emotionally, or prove they're still outside. So when he walked into the Golden One Center in Sacramento for a Warriors-Kings playoff game, it wasn't as just another fan. This was E-40, someone who had spent decades supporting Bay Area teams, sitting by the courtside. This was not his first game. But what happened that day made it seem like he was insignificant. Videos started circulating almost immediately. Videos of E-40, visibly frustrated, being escorted out by security.
And now to some controversy at the Kings game last night. Cell phone video posted to Twitter shows Bay Area rapper E-40 being escorted out of the game by security. You can see from the footage here, fans in the section are even waving as he leaves.
I remember that. I remember that, man.
Stop it. Get some help.
I remember that. That dude was going off. That dude was pissed off. And I forgot what it was over. I don't know if he got into it with another fan, because as a matter of fact, it happened during the playoffs. And if I'm not mistaken, it's I think it was when, LeBron was going against the Warriors and he was on the Cavs and everything. Like, that was hilarious.
According to E-40 in the statement he released, on Saturday night, I was subjected to disrespectful heckling over the course of the Warriors-King game in Sacramento.
Okay, so the Warriors and the Sacramento Kings, the Golden State Warriors versus Sacramento Kings. And if I'm not mistaken, I know it was the playoffs. Intention was very high. So, yeah, it was like a couple years ago.
The Tell Me When to Go rapper wrote, "During the fourth quarter, I finally turned around and addressed one heckler in an assertive but polite manner. Yet, shortly thereafter, King's security approached me, assumed that I instigated the encounter, and proceeded to kick me out of the arena. Instead of mediating the situation, they focused on him. As the argument escalated, he was removed from the arena, while the other person stayed, and that's where the accusation of racial bias came in."
Yeah, bro was off that 40 water, man.
While the other person stayed, and that's where the accusation of racial bias came in. E-40 later said the situation felt painfully familiar. A black man, a white woman, a disagreement, and security immediately decided who the problem.
It said video appeared to show to show the woman who got E-40 kicked out of the Kings versus Warriors game. You already know it was probably you a fat motherfucker, them NBA games be getting real live, so of course I got escorted out of an A's game when they were in Oakland for real. Oh Lord, you must have been getting buck on them, man. Cause that's what I'm saying. Like, people be taking their teams. Like, do not talk about politics. Don't talk about religion. And don't talk about sports. Because those three things people take to heart. And y'all can have a good conversation. But once those topics become the point of discussion, it's basically all gloves are off, man. So I'm already knowing. That's funny.
Problem was, for 40, this unfortunately was yet another reminder that, despite his success and accolades as a musician and entrepreneur, racial bias remains prevalent. The Kings organization initially stayed quiet, but the backlash didn't.
Unfortunate. I love 40. He's been our biggest supporter for years, and I hope they write that bit because he deserves to be there by our bench. And in my time knowing him, he's always been respectful. He's always been considerate of those around him.
Players spoke up. Klay Thompson, who knows E-40 personally and has seen him at games for years, publicly defended him. He said E-40 has always been respectful, always considerate, and absolutely belongs by the Warriors bench. Mr. FAB didn't mince words.
Mr. Fab. And shout out to Mr. Fab, man. Like, I met him a couple times. He cool people. You know, he's another person that's in the Bay Area that been throwing it, been putting it down. And you know, some people might know, you know, he got into an altercation with like YG over some DJ Mustard beats that happened some years ago. But, you know, a lot of people remember those type of situations. And it's not, and the reason why people would remember that situation is because when Mr. Fab got into it with somebody, you know, they was fighting and everything. The next thing you know, like his shirt kind of got lifted up and everybody was noticing that he was wearing Batman drawers or whatever. So, you know, that's what kind of threw people off. The homie said, I snatched a wig off a chick that stole my AIDS, had no job. Dang. Bro wasn't having it. Like, give me that wig, bitch. Like, man.
He said E-40 was globally humiliated and treated unfairly. I had a lot of empathy for the big fella because I know who he is, Mr. Fab said. He's never a heckler, doesn't bother anyone. Jalen Rose went further, saying the situation warranted an apology, saying security totally fumbled this scenario after showing a video of the incident from another angle. He don't even move like that, Rose said of E-40. He moves with integrity. And then the Kings compounded by putting out a statement and basically saying he was standing up excessively. Clearly, I know there's an etiquette to that as somebody that played in the league and that frequently goes to games, but they never gave him a warning for that.
Standing up excessively? Like, really?
That's not all, as E-40 also once faced a counter lawsuit from an author, Erica Kane, and her publishers over Captain Save a Soul, E-40's 1994 hit song.
Yo, the homie said, I lived in Vallejo at the time. Oh, that's dope, man. Basically sound like you don't F with E-40 because everybody has his back. Yeah, man. Like, you had a lot of people vouching for him in that scenario. And if E-40 was like a POS, if he was a type of person that didn't have good character like that, then yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody would have said nothing. They would have been quiet and questioning like, well, you know, sometimes 40 water gets besides itself. But nah, to be honest, E-40 seemed like a pretty level-headed person, man. You know. And if he's known for drinking 40s, I can't really say he didn't handle his liquor or something, you know, because shit, he probably already used to that type of stuff. So, you know, like, I can't say he got outside his body like that, you know. Come on, man. Sound like this. I don't like to pull that card, but low-key it could sound like a situation of discrimination. And it don't even necessarily have to just be race. It could be discrimination, you know, a man versus a woman. She could have started the situation, but since she's a woman, they're gonna, you know, placate to her. So, you know, we never know what was the cause of that. And then on top of that, who was that lady? Because she could have been a wife of somebody, you know, somebody influential or whatever it is, you know. In the seats of where they sitting at, those seats aren't cheap. So either she has some type of bread or she's somebody that has influence for sure. So, yeah, man. There's something about that just it don't seem right. Bro said even the players had his back in that clip. Yeah, for sure, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, what could be the cause? Like that don't even seem right. That soundboard is fire addition to the string. Man, you know what, man? Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I really do appreciate all the support that you be doing, man. You like one of my best mods. One of the best people that I came across recently, man. And I really do appreciate you supporting everything that I got going on, man. And I support you likewise, bro. For real. So, you know, it's just this whole E-40 situation is crazy though, man. Like, it's some type of form of discrimination going on. For real, for real.
The backstory was that E-40 accused Kane and her publishers of getting the title from his 1993 track of the same name. He claimed he owned the rights to the phrase Captain Save a and that Kane blatantly stole it word for her own gain. And he wanted the judge to pull the book from shelves and requested any profits Kane had made from the book. The judges ruled in his favor, and the court documents said E-40 owns rights to Captain Save a. But it didn't go so well, as she gave a counter lawsuit saying they had different consumers and audiences and his audiences, and demanded a payback because E-40's lawsuit made Amazon and other stores pull their books off the shelf, and they on their end did not cause any loss or damage to E-40. In the long run, E-40 won the legal battle over the song title, with Kane receiving nothing from E-40. If anything, E-40 outlived what was supposed to kill him, coming out of Vallejo and making home proud, not just as a rapper, not linked to the drug and thug life, but building standards and family wealth. There were moments where one bad decision could have sparked citywide consequences, but E-40 learned early how to live past it all, an OG who's not a thug. Instead of folding, E-40 presented himself to...
Wait, hold on 1 second. Yeah, to fix something, man. I got something caught up in my braces, bro. I was hurting. Hold up. Now let me see. Soundboard, same bro, and thanks for the awesome content. You could tell you put a lot in on it. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. And likewise, I like your content too, man. You definitely put a lot of originality and thought into it. So yeah, man. You're gonna have a lot of success coming your way very soon, homie. And I definitely believe in what you got going on. For sure, for sure. Now, another thing with, like, as far as this stream, I wonder if I should put the chat that's on the top. Maybe I should put that at the bottom row. And then put me in the middle. And then put the screen on top. As far as, like, what we're watching on YouTube. I think I'm going to do that. Yeah, I think I might do that, bro. Let me see if I can do that like right now. What's this? I think I'm gonna go with that. Let me see. I think I like that better. But what can I do with this? This right here. Now, did that look better like that? Wait, what? The homie said, I'm taking a trip next month to the Bay Area. So I'm gonna do some lives, walk around Oakland and some areas of San Francisco. Yeah, that'll be dope, bro. Hell yeah, do that. And like my relative. Wait, hold up. I gotta put this up here. Put my phone on charger. My brother. Okay, wait. Might change my name to Rome 300 Bay. What? You talking about that other dude, that other Rome? That's funny. But nah. Yeah, looks great, bro. All right, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna rock with it like this because I was just now noticing like with the comments going and everything, and me on the bottom, they can't really see me, and you can get, you can still see what we watching at the top. So that's cool. That definitely fix it. And then when people watching the video back, they can see the comment that's on the bottom. So it all makes sense. So good looking on that, bro. Yeah. I think we're gonna rock with it like that. But no, I was about to say, man, like my brother, um, he stay up north and everything, and he got like this lowrider down here in LA that he's getting fixed and stuff or whatever. So he'd be back and forth. But I was telling him that I was thinking about pulling up out there, man. So depending on what time you pull up out there, shoot, we might can meet up, man. Because I'm gonna be out there. So that'd be cool, man. And honestly, it's like I'm trying to travel myself, so it's like I'm trying to get up out of here. So I don't know. I'm supposed to be going to like Texas and all that stuff. And I got a couple other places I'm supposed to be going to. So it's just like I'll let you know about that, bro. Because yeah, we definitely can link up. It said my parents have a place in Rock Ridge. Okay. All right, for sure. Heck yeah. Yeah, that's cool, man. We definitely need to link, make something happen, homie.
Despite all odds as an achiever, making it to Forbes, turning practice into papers, and when it comes to songs, the 58-year-old doesn't have eras that disappeared. He has records that live forever. From Sprinkle Me to Captain Save AH, Tell Me When to...
Would be super cool. I'll show you where to get and some shit, Oakland. Man, hey, if Oakland is anything like how they talk about on the news and everything, I could definitely go out there and interview some people and stuff because yeah, the way how they have it out there is like it's crazy. So that's Oakland is definitely like another Portland as far as making content and stuff because it's like I'm pretty sure it's people all over the place. Man, for real.
Go and choices, yup. His music didn't just chart, it embedded itself into culture. You still hear his lines quoted. His slang became part of the hip-hop national language. His features turned regional artists into household names. E-40 stayed active. Albums, collaborations, features with new generation artists. He didn't run from the young artists, he embraced them. And in Vallejo, he remains a local hero, with the city naming a mile-long street after him in South Vallejo. In comparison to many other rappers that came from Vallejo at his time, E-40 ended up a lot better. Despite his involvement in the Hillside versus Crestside beef, he not only came out alive, he grew even bigger. That's not easy to accomplish.
Yeah, that's real talk. I'm a goofy white dude, but I'm funny as fuck. And I know a lot of people there, so I feel 100% safe. Yeah, man, you seem cool as hell, man. You be very chill, bro. So when you got a cool personality and when you chill and stuff like that, it's easy for you to be in and out of a lot of different situations where people don't try to press you and shit like that. They accept you for who you are. So yeah, I believe that, man. But this video, man, definitely with this video. Shout out to Hood War Chronicles for presenting this whole Hillside versus Crestside gang war. How E-40 barely made it out alive, man. This is a good video. If y'all like this video, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that thumbs up. Comment in the comment section what you want me to react to later. And if you new, hit that subscribe button. It ain't nothing, man. We about to build. I go to King's Boxing Gym all the time when I'm there. Okay. Like King's Boxing Gym, that's like is popular out there or something. And are we at the 1 hour mark yet? I can't even see. How can I tell? Yeah, probably the best. Yeah, I wonder how the hell can I tell? What are you thinking about the 50 Cent Papoose spat? Man, I should do something on that, man. I already did 3 videos today. So it was like, But that whole spat, man, I really think that it's actually funny with like some of the clips that I seen. And with that particular situation, like I'm not feeling Papoose, man, because at first I was feeling sorry for homie because he held down Remy Ma for so long, you know, being very persistent, making sure she had money on her books, making sure she was cool when she was locked up, going up there visiting her all the time, just for her to turn around and cheat on him with some battle rapper, you know. But the reason why I'm not feeling Papoose right now, this dude is still legally married and he's dealing with Clarissa Shields. Now, Clarissa Shields, that's a whole nother situation, but I don't like the fact that he's like low key, like she's making her own decision, but I think he's like low key playing her. Like she's younger. I don't think she's been experienced with a partner like that. Papoose is older. I think he's older like by 10, 15 years or something. But Papoose is coming across as, you know, kind of a dirtbag because for Christmas he wasn't with Clarissa Shields. He was hiding, and come to find out he was with Remy Ma. So to answer the question as far as the whole Papoose and 50 Cent situation, I think it's funny and low key 50 is being 50, and he's clowning Papoose, and I think it's kind of deserved, man, because you got somebody that got your back like that, and then you treating them like crap. It's crazy. So 50 go like Goku lately. Yeah, dude going Super Saiyan, man. So it's like you got somebody that got your back and everything, as far as Papoose, and then you ish on him like that ain't right. That ain't righteous. So I'm definitely not feeling that. And whatever 50 got, it is what it is, man. But yeah. Hey, it's Sewing Live. Cause if he not live or not, yeah, I don't know, man. But like I said, man, I appreciate all y'all that pulled up and everything, for hitting that like, subscribing. And on that note, I'm about to be out, man. I'll holler at y'all later, man.
You are now in tune with Classic. It's not a classic unless it's classic.
That's right. It's a motherfucking classic.
Like and subscribe.